introduced to Australia almost 100 years ago, cane toads are an ugly as hell pest that have decimated large parts of this country. Now, a crack squad of toad killers has a bold plan to stop the amphibious a-holes from reaching the precious Pilbara.
The farmer must fight continually against many pests. One of the most serious in Queensland is the white cane grub.
In the 1930s, the Queensland government thought it was a marvellous idea to import cane toads from Hawaii to help kill grubs that were eating sugarcane.
Buffo marinus was introduced by the Bureau of Sugar Experiment Stations.
Spoiler alert, it was a terrible idea. Poisonous to predators, they spread like wildfire, locals resorting to guerrilla tactics to curb their march.
Well, I line them up with the driver's side front wheel, and the toad really goes off with a bang like a balloon going off.
Fast forward to today.
Their march has been unstoppable.
There are now billions of them across the country.
Moving from Queensland across the NT, cane toads have now entered WA and are fast approaching Broome and the Pilbara, where they have the potential to decimate 27 million hectares of native wildlife and significant Aboriginal cultural heritage.
It's an area the size of New Zealand.
Enter a ragtag have come up with a plan to keep the little slime bags out of the Pilbara. It's called the Toad Containment Zone.
So we're going to try and create a barrier between the Kimberley and the Pilbara along a narrow stretch of coastline. There's a lot of water points in the landscape that have been made by humans. If we can take that water up off the ground and get it away from cane toads, then they can't soak up water through their skin. They simply can't survive. They dry out and perish.
If we do this, science says the cane toad invasion will stop.
Touted as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
And now to a warning we give every year, especially for pet owners. It's time to check your yards for toxic toads.
Cane toads are a big problem here in Florida, especially if your dog or cat get too close. Fox 13's Regina Gonzalez is live now, and Regina, we know that some of these can cause some serious problems, right?
Yeah, that's right, Laura. Unfortunately, if your pup eats one, it can literally be deadly. And that's because these toads have glands on their shoulders that release a thick, creamy poison if they feel threatened. In fact, a pet can even become sick and die in as little as 15 minutes, according to the FWC. We've unfortunately, over the years, done several stories with pet owners who lost their fur babies because of these toads. Now, the problem is, they like to live almost anywhere, urbanized areas, around houses, and in agricultural settings, and they breed in crazy numbers, especially this time of year. They are short, squat, and chunky little guys, and they don't have sticky toe pads on the end of their feet, so they don't climb. You can mostly find cane toads near water and out and about in the dark because they're attracted to light at night.
Imagine releasing 102 cute little toads to solve a simple crop problem, only to end up with more than 200 million poisonous monsters overrunning an entire continent. This isn't science fiction. This is Australia's cane toad disaster, a real-life ecological nightmare that began with good intentions and ended with one of the biggest wildlife invasions in modern history. Our story begins in the 1930s in the lush sugarcane fields of Queensland, Australia. Farmers were losing their crops at an alarming rate. The culprit, the cane beetle, a pest that ate its way through the stalks, costing millions in damage. Desperate for a solution, Australian scientists searched the world for anything that could stop the beetle plague, and then they heard about a toad from Hawaii that had a reputation for devouring beetles. On paper, it sounded brilliant. Simple, elegant, toads eat beetles, problem solved. Australia didn't know it yet, but they were about to unleash one of nature's most unstoppable creatures. In 1935, scientists imported 102 cane toads into Queensland. They bred them quickly, and within months, more than 2,400 toads were released into the wild. The plan was straightforward. Toads would hop into the sugar fields, find the beetles and feast. But from the very first week, nothing went according to plan. Here's the twist that ruined everything. Cane beetles don't live on the ground. They live high up on sugarcane stalks and far out of a toad's reach. Well, the toads couldn't climb. They couldn't jump high enough. They couldn't even find the beetles. So instead of controlling the beetle population, the toads did something else. They spread everywhere. And they ate anything and everything they could fit in their mouths. Insects, bird chicks, small mammals, even pet food left outside homes. Australia had created the perfect invader, but the worst part wasn't what the toads ate, it was what ate them, or at least what tried to eat them. You see, cane toads carry a powerful toxin in large glands behind their head. When threatened, these glands release bufotoxin, a poison so strong it can kill. Crocodiles monitor lizards, snakes, dingoes, domestic dogs, even large birds. Predators that had lived in Australia for thousands of years died instantly after eating just one toad. By the 1950s and 60s, entire predator populations collapsed. The ecosystem began to unravel, and the toads, they kept marching forward. Cane toads breed at a terrifying rate. A single female can lay 30,000 eggs at once. And unlike native species, cane toad tadpoles are toxic too. Everything that tries to eat them dies. As decades passed, their invasion speed accelerated. Today, cane toads spread across Australia at 40 miles or 60 kilometers per year. In some regions, they outnumber humans by 1,000 to 1. What started as 102 toads in 1935 has now grown to an estimated 200 million. Australia has tried everything: toad fences, traps, toad-sniffing dogs, toxin-resistant predator training, even genetic research. But nothing has stopped the invasion. Why? Because cane toads are built for survival. They can live in drought or flood. They can survive extreme heat. They can eat almost anything. They reproduce explosively. And most predators die instantly when they eat them. After nearly a century of scientific battles, Australia still hasn't found a permanent solution. The cane toad invasion is one of the greatest ecological disasters in history and one of the clearest warnings humanity has ever received. When we try to fix nature without fully understanding it, nature always responds, and sometimes it responds with a disaster that never ends. This is Planet Exposed, revealing the stories the Earth tries to hide.